Whoa, whoa, whoa. Stop right there. This channel is not intended for kids under the age of 13. So if you're under the age of 13, please leave.
Hey everybody, Arthur here with another unboxing video. Today we have Storm Collectibles Mortal Kombat Reptile from Mortal Kombat 3, and I'm super stoked to have this figure because we could never have enough ninjas and Mortal Kombat figures in general, and I'm happy that Storm keeps pumping them out, and it comes in that typical style Storm Collectibles packaging with the figure or character artwork right here. And I gotta give a huge shout out to Toyco Andrew Yen. He is my plastic dealer. He gets me all my imports and everything. I get them through him because he has some of the best pricing, and honestly I don't know what I would do without him. He's the one who actually got me addicted to Storm Collectibles. On the left side of the package, you can see the artwork wraps around looking awesome, says Mortal Kombat Reptile. On the right side of the package, you got the figure all posed up looking very badass. On the back of the package, it shows off the figure in a bunch of different poses that you can copy, shows off some of the accessories, and there is some read-up information, so feel free to pause it if you'd like to read it. Straight out of the package, Reptile comes with a pair of fist hands equipped. Reptile comes with some open palm hands that you can use them for him putting his hands up, or he could be karate chopping a bunch of mofos. We also got some gripping hands with him, but one of mine has a little piece of shit on his palm. Reptile comes with two individual hands. They don't come in a pair, so you got one that is sort of like pointing and one very like openy fingery, so he can pretty much point at the combatant. Finally, Reptile comes with some more open palm hands. These ones are more like generating a acid ball or palming a basketball. Now, like other Storm Collectible figures, we get that fireball stand, and you can see here's an extra piece. But I mean, all these are sections that can be broken down, so you get different heights and levels. And then you also have the different spots on the stand to have the distance. Now, some of you might be saying, hey, Reptile doesn't shoot fireballs, but he does release weird acid bubble things. And this is the piece, the effect piece that goes on the actual stand. And in hand, this thing looks like a apple Jolly Rancher. I mean, the color that they used for it, I just like how it transitions from like the whiter to the green, and it's just done really well. Here we have an up-close look at Reptile's Reptile Head, and it looks pretty awesome. It's got some red eyes, the black slits, got some wash or some sort of paint to the teeth just so they're not just plain white. It's got a little hood going on, which looks really nice. It fits like a glove, and it actually can just pop right off. Just like so, but you can see the sculpted in scales. Lots of sculpted in detail with it. The paintwork's awesome. Top of his head compared to the original Reptile, its head's a little bit smoother, but that's because he's wearing that little headpiece. But this thing looks so awesome, and it still, you know, has the articulated jaw that you can open it up, revealing that tongue. It's got a little baby reptile tongue. Now, I know some of you don't want a little bit of tongue, but you want a lot of tongue. We do get that eating head fatality tongue, which just ports right into the back of his throat. Looks pretty awesome. Could use a little bit of a wash, so it's not just so much of a fleshy pink plastic, but has some sculpted detail, and it gets the point across. Now, something new that we get that plugs into his mouth that is not a tongue is his acid spit. Again, looking like a apple Jolly Rancher, but still looking really, really nice with how it is sculpted and how it's translucent. Just looks like he's just hacking up a loogie of acid. Now, when it comes to Reptile, you can get him into some of his iconic poses, but with his effect pieces, it's a little bit unique. So his butterfly doesn't allow his arms to really get in close enough to give that classic, you know, Reptile releasing this effect. So you can get his hand sort of like how it's positioned. But this effect that we get is when it actually hits the enemy. So we don't got anything that's stringing from hand to hand or just the ball itself, just the ball contacting the person he's fighting and actually hitting them. So I wonder why they skipped over some steps and just gave us this effect piece right away. I mean, it still looks cool, but if you're trying to be accurate to Mortal Kombat, this is only going to show up when it makes contact. Here we have an up-close look at Reptile, and first off, you're going to notice his eyes have that reptile look, and it's awesome. So it's just not solid white. We got that reptile style pupil and everything, and that looks great. His face mask is definitely different compared to Sub-Zeros and Scorpions, which is great. And again, I'm a sucker for this color. And when it comes to the actual body and everything, as we look at it, it looks really good, but it's almost like a two-tone. It's like this is like a yellowish green, like a mixture of yellow green. Then there's like darker, like neon green sort of airbrush throughout, and it gives it a nice like two-tone effect. How the light hits it and everything, it looks awesome. Now the painting on the lines, you know, not the cleanest, but it is a soft goods technically, even though it's made out of rubber. You know, it's basically his ninja outfit. Got like little gauntlets and everything. And then on the back, you can really see that two-tone of that green. Looks really nice. Wrinkles down the back, stitching on the back of the mask. It's got a little butt crack. Just a overall solid release of a ninja. I mean, this is pretty much a tuned up version of some ninjas we already got to make this one more reptile unique. They did add some little bit of speckling. You can sort of see on the arms, almost like a brown like airbrush lightly over it, just so it's not like a solid plastic color. You can see the little dots and speckles. He almost looks like he has a slight tan. And that's cool because he'll stand out compared to the other ninjas. Shin guards, little ninja shoes. Now diving into articulation, his head is on a joystick basically. There's a ball in the bottom with a long stem, then the ball goes into the head. And he can look down that far. He can look up that far. You know, it's a weird, and actually let me show you guys. That is the peg that goes into his head, which is definitely weird. You do get some attitude out of him. Full 360. It's odd. It's not as much up and down as I would like, because you're basically moving it like a joystick versus moving the head up and down. Arms have disc hinge, so you can get them up a little bit beyond T pose, almost like a Y pose. We do get butterflies in there, and this is pretty much your butterfly movement. Not as good as I would like. Bicep swivel, double jointed elbows. They work really nice. Wrist rotation, wrist bend. We get underneath the gi, there's a slice, sort of like separation right here. So you can get him to, let me get the arms down. You can actually crouch down quite a bit. Makes his outfit get all weird. But you can get him to crouch down. I just knocked his mask off, but whatever. And then he can lean back that far. Not too bad. Do the whole waist movement, hula hooping. It's all under there. So this whole like gi is all attached pretty much as like one giant piece. And you can see I even, me moving him aggressively, unplugged it from there. I didn't even realize there was a plug there. But let's continue with that. He can do the Van Damme. A little squeaky in the thighs. He does have hip rotation up at the top. He can kick up quite a bit. Double jointed knees work really well. Ankle bend, pivot, toe bend. Now for some comparison, I got the OG Reptile next to the new one, and you can see they have slight color differences, and the new ones are more hulking in design, based more like the Mortal Kombat 3 designs, and these guys are more their Mortal Kombat 1 and 2 designs, which they both look amazing to me. I still really think that the OG ninjas just look really mean and menacing, and they look pretty badass, but you could see the original one came with that effect piece I was talking about earlier. So you're doing the effect, but the ball's supposed to come out the center and float. And then when it hits the enemy, we get the new effect piece. So it sucks that they didn't give us even that recasted in the proper color as this one, because they're totally two different greens. So you couldn't even really use it. I mean, you could technically try, but to me, it's like the colors need to match in order for that effect piece to make sense with that effect piece. That's just my opinion. So it would have been cool to actually get this one in the Apple Jolly Rancher color, and then maybe get the orb floating, which would have been sweet. Here we have Reptile posed up as close as I could to his Mortal Kombat 3 victory stance. And with these figures' hulking bodies, I can only get his arms posed up this way, and his legs couldn't get close enough together because he's got some thick thighs. Reptile is a thick boy right here, and it's still something I wanted to try. I'm trying to get him into some of those iconic stances and poses, and this isn't really a pose I'm going to have on the shelf because there's so much more you can do with these figures articulation wise, so you can get them on some awesome stances. I mean, you saw my OG Reptile, how I have him posed up. That's how I have him on the shelf. So definitely not going to have him posed up like this, but I still wanted to check out that sort of pose. And this figure, if you're familiar with Storm Collectibles and their Mortal Kombat line, or just Storm Collectibles in general, you know you're going to get tons of articulation out of these figures. Their balance game's on point. Tons of alternate hands, accessories, effect pieces. Now, mind you, I wish we had a couple more effect pieces. I wish we had the starting of that effect to the floating ball to the explosion that we got. I just wish we would have got that transition, because I mean, we didn't get any blood effects with this figure, which, I mean, I'm always open to more blood effects, but we didn't really get that. So I feel like it could have been a little bit more with this figure, but it's still a ton of stuff we got. And that sums up my unboxing and review of Storm Collectibles Mortal Kombat 3 Reptile. If you guys like what you saw, hit that thumbs up. If you're new to my channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, as it helps the channel evolve and grow. Make sure you guys hit the silver bell notification if you want to get alerts when I post up a new video. And make sure you guys show some love to Toyco. All the information's down below. And I want you guys to have the best luck hunting, keep on collecting, and have a beautiful day.